Alright everybody, we're going to do an example here to show you how to take a problem and break it down into little parts so you can then answer any question that is posed. So here we go. So take a second here if you want to pause the video and look at what the problem entails. Okay, I'm going to get myself started. It's 80%. So I'll write this as a decimal. Boom. That's the first thing I write. Now I don't know where this is going right now, but I'll just have faith that somehow all this will come together. And says, but 20% will not be able to do the job, so it looks like maybe it's just going to be the complement of what I just wrote. So not do job, 20%. Now, it says this, to help in the selection process, a test has been designed so that a qualified applicant has a probability of 85% of passing the test. Now, I'm going to read that again. To help in the selection process, a test has been designed so that a qualified applicant, who are we talking about? Somebody that's able to do the job has a probability of 85% of passing the test. So now realize that this 85% doesn't really apply to the whole population, only those that we believe to be able to do the job. So now I'll write something like this. Pass given that you're able to do the job. Hey, and that is 85% chance of that. And then it says, while an unqualified applicant has a net probability of 2% of passing the test. So even if you're not somebody that we wish to hire, you still have a chance of passing the test. So I'll write something like this. Obviously, this is a person that is not qualified, meaning not do job. So pass, given that, not do job. And that is 2%. Now, here's how I'm going to proceed. I see that I have this probability to do job, but then I also have this other one here that is passing the test given the do job. Same thing, I have not do job, and I have a probability that says passing given that you not do job. When I see this, these conditional probabilities, I think tree. As a matter of fact, I think of this as the first stage of the tree, and then the conditional start to signal second or maybe third stages, depending how far we take this. But this tree will have two stages. So the next thing to do, which I've said that you need to do, is create a picture. Create a picture before even answering any questions. As a matter of fact, do you see any questions? No, because I want to show you that this is the thing you should be doing. First, break down the problem, interpret the probabilities using function notation, then we draw a picture. And here's the result from the first stage. So notice that I've start here at the node that's already beginning here, and now I have two choices. I either can do the job or I cannot do the job. There's an 80% chance of starting here at this node and ending here and do a job, and there's a 20% chance of starting here and ending here, not do the job. Alright, so now I got the first stage of the tree, and now I'm ready to go to the second stage, which means once I find myself doing the job, what's my chance of passing the test? And here it is with the rest of the tree in place. Notice again, once I find myself here being able to do the job, the chance of passing is 85%. But if I'm able to do the job, there's a 15% chance that I'm able to do the job, yet I won't pass this test. Similarly, if I cannot do the job, there's still a possibility that I will pass this test, 12% chance, and there's a 98% chance that I won't pass this test. So again, imagine that somebody comes up with a similar scenario. They want to hire people for a particular job. They get interviewed, obviously, but at the same time, they want to have another device, some measuring device that might be able to tell them if this is going to be a good fit for the company. So they may already take people who they feel are a good fit for the company, give them a test, and then create these cutoffs. And again, there's always going to be a cutoff. Maybe they also have people in the company who you're not so happy with their work, and you give them the test, and it turns out that they can pass as well. So you create these cutoffs so that the majority of the time you're going to get people you want to hire passing, and at the same time people that you don't want to hire not passing. But it's not going to be a perfect test. And now that we have this thing worked out, now we know how the information fits together, we're ready to answer the questions. So to reiterate, first do this process. Write down the given probability using function notation, especially even an exam. Do that. Then create your tree. Do that. And now you're ready to answer some questions.